the steps, high-level steps are, you go to Google Analytics, you confirm that there's a data stream running, and you get the G code. You add that code onto your the host page, the page that is hosting the iframe. You're going to also then take that code, enter it into the Bullseye Interface configuration. You'll generate the embed code, and then you'll put that embed code on the page. Assuming you've done that all correctly, it should be working, and you'll be able to verify data collection in a couple ways. You can see it actually in the developer console. I'll show you how to do that. You can see it in the Google Analytics real-time reports. And if you've set it up, you can also see it in Google Analytics debug mode. So you want to verify that the data is coming through, that you're seeing data, and then if there are problems, there's some troubleshooting steps that we can sort of outline that you would take. So let's take this step by step. Step one, confirming the data stream and getting Google Analytics code. So from your Google Analytics account, you can go into the admin section. And you have data collection and modification. You click on data streams. Now you can have multiple data streams. You could configure different data streams from different applications. This really kind of gets into the organization and architecture of Google Analytics 4. But assuming that there's a data stream, you can actually go in and click on that, and you can see the measurement ID that you need. And you have the ability to view the tag instructions. So again, we're going to confirm the data stream, and we're going to get the code. I'm going to go grab I'm going to go grab this code. I'm going to open up my page and just make sure that I'm logged in correctly. I'm going to open up my page, and I'm going to insert that Google Analytics code, paste it in every code of the page immediately after the head element, and don't add more than one. So immediately after the head, we're going to go in and we're going to drop in the Google Tag Manager. Notice that you can see that we've got the G code, which would correspond with the code that you see on the Google tag. So once we've done that, we're going to save this, and there's a tool for testing it. We're just going to test this, and it verifies that it can find that tag on the page. So that's great. Step one is complete. So step two is now we're going to add G-tag on the host page. Actually, we did step two. So we're on to step three, which is entering the code in the Bullseye Interface configuration. So from your Bullseye account, you're going to go to the Interface listing tab. You're going to find the interface that you are working on, which here is the ABC map on the side. Actually, before we do this, I'm going to pull up the actual page itself. So I've configured a demo website at bullseye-host.com. Right now, if I reload this page, you don't see the search interface because we have not embedded it yet. If I view the source code here, you will actually see the Google tag that we added to that page. But the other thing I want to show you is that right now on the Publish tab, in the embed code down at the bottom, that is what you use to embed the locator. Notice that we have, it starts with the script. You've got the iframe. And if we were to just insert this page, or embed this code, you would get the locator, but you wouldn't have the analytics script that I pointed out because it's not there. And the reason I want to show you that is I want to show you what it looks like once we've added that script or added that tag, and the script is automatically added. So what you need to do is you need to configure the Google Analytics tracking ID and the host URL. So the host URL was previously entered. You can see that it's the same URL that of the demo page. We're going to go into this stream. We're going to get the G tag, the measurement ID. We're going to copy that into the Google tracking ID here, and we're going to save this. We're going to go to the Publish tab. And you can see now that in addition to the iframe script, which sort of begins here, we have an additional script, which includes the G tag. And it's probably very hard to see. I can make my screen a little larger, I think. There we go. So you can see that G tag and this additional script has been added. So let's save this again. Oops. All right. So we go back here. So we've entered the code. We've generated the embed code. Now we're going to embed that code on the page. We're going to copy this, go back to my page. And I'm going to put this embed code in the section where I want the interface to be located. So here on this page, it's just below the title. And all of that code gets inserted. I'm going to save this. Let's go back to our interface and refresh this. And you can see now that there is a search interface embedded. It's fully functional. And if we've done things correctly, we actually should be tracking data. So we've embedded the code and we're going to verify the data collection. The first place to probably go actually is right to analytics. And if you go into reports and you go into real-time reports, you can actually see that we've started collecting data. So here are the search results coming in, along with other events that are being recorded. And if I click on these events, I can actually also see the individual parameters that are coming in for all of those data elements. So that is one way to verify that data is flowing correctly. Where am I going? Another way is to look in the developer console. So if I go back to my interface and I do F12, oops, F12, open up like that. There we go. Open up my developer console, go to network. Notice I've got collect filtered. If you enter collect filtered and you click on an action, you actually start to see, and this action I'm clicking on the left-hand side is selecting a card, which opens up the pop-up in the map. But you can see that data is coming in, and if I click on that individual item, I can actually see what's coming in by way of the payload. So this is another way to see the parameters that are being passed in for each of these events. Also, obviously, a way to verify that we've collected the data. You can also go to the console itself, and if I close this out and I look for my data layer, can actually see that arguments are also coming in through the data layer. I can open these up and see the data that's coming in for each of these events. So that's the second way to verify that you're collecting data correctly. And then the third way is using the debug mode. So the debug mode requires that you make a slight change to and it requires a slight change to the code itself. And let's see. What we want to add is debug mode to the GTag event, which is here. So where you see GTag config, we've got the ID. We want to insert this control. We need a comma after this, and then you can insert the debug. And if I save this, we're actually sending data in debug mode. To get to the debug mode, you go into admin. Down here under data display, you see the debug view. This will actually start to list out events that are happening in a time sequence. So you can actually see this. So if we go back to our demo, let's close out the console. Let's do another search. And we can start seeing some actions. And this data should start to show up in the debug mode. Now, there's oftentimes we've noticed a delay. So you sometimes have to wait for that debug data to show, which actually is also the same with the real-time reports. So if we give this a few minutes, you should start seeing data in the debug mode. Unless I've done something incorrect. Debug mode, make this true. That looks correct. That looks correct, right, Alejandro?
Yes. Did you refresh the page, the host page?
The whole page?
Yes, you need to refresh the whole page to configure again with the book mode.
Got it. Let's see. All right, there we go. So you can start seeing data in the page view. So any questions at this point? I know that you guys can't speak out loud, but feel free to post a question on that.
You may also raise your hand and I can allow you to talk. So it's fine to do that as well.
Yeah. So, so we've gone through that process and it worked because I rehearsed it a bunch of times, of course. Like I said at the beginning of the session, it's not difficult. It is a little bit tricky. So oftentimes you're going to run into, just a typo or something that's a problem. And so Alejandro, who obviously knows a lot about the implementation and has done a lot of troubleshooting, Alejandro, can you speak a little bit to steps that a user would take if they weren't getting the results and they wanted to start doing some troubleshooting?
That's true. Well, the first step that we usually do when we have a problems and the locator is not recording is verify that your GA code is the same between the host page and the locator. You can see it in the view page source. That is the easiest way to do it. And you can confirm like the G tag or Google Tag Manager script is referring to that code, and also the Bullseye script has the same code. That is the first step to see if you configure good your environment. Next step, you can verify if you are getting this collect event. The collect event is the event that Joshua showed you in the network. When you enter the network tab, every time that you load the page or you click in some part of the locator, you should see the collect event.
So normally, Alejandro, you won't see this, right? You'll see all the events.
Yes, exactly. You can filter the events because in this case, it's a simple page that the HTML is very little, but you could have a WordPress or another CMS, and this CMS usually have a lot of code, and the network is a big list of events that you maybe don't see the collect. In the collect, you can make sure that the tag is the same at the beginning. You can see that the tag match the host and the one that you configure in the locator. And this is all Google variables that they use to track some other stuff. But at the end, you will see the payload that you are sending to the tag. Google usually groups in one payload all the information, but in this case, because we are seeing only one event, you can see it down that the name of the event, that is select location, and you can see what information are you sending, like the Bullseye demo, the Home Depot. All that are parameters, custom parameters that Bullseye is sending back to Google to track down. Regularly at the end, you can verify that to see if the data is coming through Google Analytics. Another way to do some debugging or something to see what are you doing is in the console, the data layer. You can erase the console and press start typing in the blank space data layer, and the data layer contains all the events. It's an array that contains all the events since you configure the tag, and you see all the events, the custom events that we have, and also the Google events like page paths, page view. All that events are from Google, But in here, you can review. And definitely, if you have the data layer and the collect, you are good. If you don't have any of this step, another thing that you can do is open the locator like a standalone and see if the locator standalone has the event tracker.
So there are a couple ways to view the standalone. One is this view tab. From the interface, you also have the ability to view the interface from the upper left-hand side of the console. So if you click view here, what you get is the interface without the host page. It's just the interface. That's what Alejandro is calling the standalone. And so here you're suggesting that you view the source. Is that right?
No, the source, no. You can see the developer console, and you can see that in the network, you are calling the collect event.
So same strategy, but just removing the host page.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's to verify, because sometimes in some CMS, you can accidentally install several plugins that inject Google Analytics code or Google tag, and suddenly you will have 3 or 4 codes in the same page, in the host page, and that will cause conflicts between the tracking. Then if you want to be sure that the locator alone is working, this is a way that you can do it.
Yeah. And that's an excellent point, and worth reinforcing, right? Is that oftentimes, whether it's through a plugin or even somebody adding their own scripts, right, you might cause conflicts that would prevent the tracking to work correctly.
Exactly. That is very common, that some CMS like WordPress inject plugins that mess up a little with the tracking, because they inject 2 times or 3 times different code or the same time. Then that will cause that you see duplicate events in your locator or something similar.
Right. What would you say is the number one cause of problems that you've seen?
Regular is the configuration.
The configuration.
Yes, maybe the something that maybe we should remark is that you should have the Google Analytics or the Google Tag Manager in your host page. That is very important, because sometimes some clients configure everything correct in Bullseye, but in the host page you don't have the Google Tag Manager. And because this new architecture that you are sending back to the parent the event, definitely you need that to work with Google Analytics for security reasons.
Yeah. Great.
Maybe that is the first issue.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that. So let's talk about Google Tag Manager. As I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, the steps are pretty much exactly the same, with 2 minor exceptions. One is that there's a tag template that you can use to import into the Tag Manager, and then once you've imported that tag template, you just need to go and update the GA4 measure ID with that tag. So let's go and look at the Tag Manager. You have right now, what we're looking at is we're looking at a workspace that has actually no tags in it. So you can get the JSON that has the template from the knowledge base. If you go here, you can see there's a link to that template. I've already downloaded it. To import the template, you want to go to admin. You want to go to import container. I'm going to select that on my laptop. I'm going to use an existing workspace, which is this new one I've created. You can see it's going to tell me that we're going to import 23 tags, 24 triggers, 24 variables. So I'll just confirm this, and it's actually gone in and imported all of those. Now this is working in a separate workspace, so it's not presently live. The default space is live, so I can actually go in and sort of make changes here. One thing that is important to note is that actually on each of these tags, you can go in, you can see what the event name is, and you can also find those event parameters. So this is another way to see all the parameters based on the events. Once you've imported that, you want to make sure that you add, if you don't already have the Google Tag Manager, actually, let me back up a second. So the second step is to update the variable with the correct G tag. So here is a variable called GA4 measure ID. You can see this has been set to a default value. This is what you want to make sure gets configured with that G tag that is part of your data stream. So this G tag, we want to go in and we want to make sure that we've added that here, and we've saved that. And then you want to make sure that that tag, this whole G tag, gets added to your host page. If it's not already, you can click on this to get instructions. There are two components to this. One is pasting the code high in the head of the page, as high as possible, and then pasting a piece of code in the body tag. You want to get this GTM code next, and you want to go back to the interface. And in place of the GA code, you would put the GTM code, and you would save this. Go to your Publish tab. And here you can view and confirm that now you have the GTM tag instead of the G tag. This needs to be copied and pasted and placed into the page. I believe that my index 2 example, has you can see the script here. So here's the tag manager script with the GTM code. You have the second Google tag script here. And then you have the Bullseye script along with that tag code that's listed here. And if I were to save this and publish this, you would basically now have data flowing through the tag manager into Google Analytics, and all of the validation steps, checking on the console, checking on the real-time reports, checking in the console, looking under the network tab, looking under the console tab. All of that then would start to be showing data that's flowing through that Google Tag Manager instead of directly. So that is Google Tag Manager. Sorry that we've run over a little bit, but this has been a lot of fun. I hope everybody got a lot out of it. Are there more questions?
Yes, Todd has a question about Adobe.
Adobe tags. We have had clients that are using Adobe tags. I can't say that we have a lot of experience with it directly. But I think that to your point, Todd, it should work in a very similar kind of way. Thank you very much, Todd. So we'll save this and we'll share it with everybody. Thank you for your time and look forward to the next webinar.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.